Hi, I'm Lisa Tipton, Director of the New York Youth Symphony Chamber Music Program.
Hello, my name is Tyler Thomas, Assistant Director of the Chamber Music Program.
Hi, I'm Francesca Ferrara, Production Manager for the Chamber Music Program.
This is the 9th video in the series featuring the extraordinary chamber music of composers from diverse backgrounds. Each session highlights 5 composers, and today we will share the stories and short sound bites of selections of music by composers from the Middle East and Afghanistan: Kareem Roustom, Aida Shirazi, Milad Yousufi, Shulamit Ran, and Solhi al-Wadi. Milad Yousufi is a pianist, composer, poet, and visual artist whose work is deeply inspired by his country and culture. Yousufi was born during the civil war in Afghanistan when the Taliban were ruling and music was completely banned. At 2, he started drawing and drew the piano keys on paper and pretended to play. When the Taliban rule was lifted, the arts flourished and Yousufi took every opportunity to study music and art. By 12, he was teaching painting and attended the only music school in Kabul. After 3 years of piano training, Yousufi was one of 4 students accepted into a music program in Denmark. He was chosen to represent Afghanistan at various music festivals in Europe and placed 3rd in the International Golden Key competition in Germany. Upon his return to Afghanistan, Yousufi concentrated on teaching piano and theory at the Afghanistan National Institute of Music. Yousufi was awarded a full undergraduate scholarship to attend Mannes School of Music and currently is pursuing a master's degree in composition at Brooklyn College. Yousufi has composed for the New York Philharmonic Chamber Orchestra, the Kronos Quartet, Raleigh Civic Symphony Orchestra, Trio Solisti, and has a dream to make a difference in the future of music and culture in Afghanistan. Hear him speak about his piece Freedom, which can also be played by a smaller group.
Hi, I'm Milad Yousufi, a refugee from Afghanistan. My passion for art and music started when I was 3 years old, and luckily since then I had the full support of my family and a big community of friends. I have been blessed and very fortunate to be able to collaborate with major chamber orchestras, and a wonderful community of musicians and artists. Freedom is a very special piece for me because it was one of the very first collection of orchestral pieces that I was writing, and it was commissioned by New York Philharmonic Chamber Orchestra. In Freedom, I wanted to express my feeling as a refugee and also bigger picture, all the refugees around the world and the anxiety they go through. So you can witness in the music there's a sense of anxiety going on and a sense of sanctuary in the middle, which represents a dream of peace. And I am hoping you enjoy the piece. Thank you very much.
Syrian-American Kareem Roustom is an Emmy-nominated composer whose collaborations include music commissioned for the Kronos Quartet, the West Eastern Divan Orchestra, and the Dallas Symphony, as well as pop artists such as Shakira, Beyonce, and Tina Turner. BBC Radio 3 described Roustom's music as among the most distinctive to have emerged from the Middle East, and the New York Times described his music as propulsive, colorful, and immediately appealing. Of his triple-string quartet, David Harrington, founder of the Kronos Quartet and first violinist, wrote, "I think that with a voice exclaiming, Kareem Roustom has made a vivid, thought-provoking new piece that reflects hope in the time we live in, and the immense possibility for positive change as well as its awesome uncertainties and dangers." Have a listen to his Bahar for strings, piano, and clarinet.
Born and raised in Tehran, Iran, Aida Shirazi is a composer of acoustic and electroacoustic music. Her works are inspired by Persian and English languages and literature, as well as Iranian classical music. Shirazi's music is described in the press as unfolding with deliberation by the New York Times, well-made and affecting by the New Yorker, and unusually creative by San Francisco Classical Voice. Shirazi's music has been featured at festivals and concert series, including Manifest, Mostly Mozart, Taproot, and Tehran Contemporary Music Festival. Currently, Shirazi is a PhD candidate of composition at the University of California, Davis, and holds degrees from Tehran University of Art and Bilkent University in Turkey. During the years 1998 to 2004, she studied santur, a traditional Iranian hammered dulcimer, with Parisa Khosravi Samani. Shirazi is a co-founder and board member of the Iranian Female Composers Association. Have a listen to her Lullaby for a Shattered Angel.
Shulamit Ran, an esteemed educator and the second woman to win the Pulitzer Prize, was born in Tel Aviv, Israel. She grew up listening to Jewish music her father played on the radio, and at 7, she was writing her own settings of Hebrew language poetry. Ran studied composition in Israel, and at 14, she traveled to the U.S. to study at the Mannes College of Music. She continues to perform in Israel as a pianist, but has lived for most of her life in the U.S. Her works are performed by major orchestras such as the New York Philharmonic, the Philadelphia Orchestra, the Israel Philharmonic, as well as chamber ensembles such as the Lark Quartet, the Peabody Trio, and the San Francisco Contemporary Music Players. Ran won the Pulitzer Prize for Music in 1991 for her symphony and was the second woman to win the prize. The Chicago Tribune hails that Ran has never forgotten that a vital essence of composition is communication, and commentary on her music typically claims her music is gloriously human and compelling. Ran is on the faculty of the University of Chicago. Have a listen.
Solhi al-Wadi was born in Baghdad from a mixed Iraqi-Jordanian descent. He spent much of his life in Damascus, where he founded the Arabic Institute, the Higher Conservatory of Music, the Syrian National Symphony Orchestra in 1992, as well as co-founded the Damascus Opera House in 1990. Al-Wadi collapsed on stage due to a stroke during a National Orchestra concert in Damascus in 2002. Orchestra members spent the night at the hospital in concert dress out of deep concern. Al-Wadi spent his remaining few years out of the public's eye, almost completely paralyzed. His compositions include chamber music, orchestral works, as well as incidental music and soundtracks. His music inspired by the works of Bartók. Al-Wadi's later music echoes the conflicts and regional events with its desolate sadness. His piano trio of 1975, dedicated to Shostakovich, illustrates this period with its moving musical expression of the despair that characterized the region during the Cold War. For further information about these composers, check out at the bottom of the video in the description box below. You'll find entire movements as well as other works by each of the composers. And for a next session video, we'll highlight trailblazing women from the last century. Thanks for watching.